I'm Lynn. I work at the Cumberland Library, and I've done some cooking videos for the library to enhance their virtual programming that we're doing during quarantine, and trying to keep things interesting at the library. It's a little difficult because we can't get together, but we're doing our best, and there's lots of good things on our YouTube page. If you want to subscribe to that, that would be great, Cumberland Public Library. And subscribe to our Cumberland Public Library Facebook page too, and you'll see all the great things that we're doing during quarantine. So today I'm going to make turkey chili, and turkey chili with a little surprise in it. A surprise you can put in it or not if you don't want to. And I've already chopped a bunch of things up to make this easier, so I'm going to just put this all together for you and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my pan going, get it hot, and throw a little oil in there. I'm having a little trouble with, it's so bright outside and everything is just like glowing. I don't know, I blocked out all my windows and it's like nighttime, but it's in here, but it's not. Is that better? That's probably better. Okay, so I'm getting my oil going, just getting that hot, and then I'm going to throw in, I've diced up one onion, one medium onion. I'm throwing that in. I get all this stuff going right away. I diced up one and a little bit, I had a little piece of pepper left. I diced that up too. It might be a little bit too much. It's like an awful lot of pepper. I use red pepper. I don't like green pepper, and it doesn't like my tummy either, so I don't put it in, but you certainly can, and you certainly can add jalapeno peppers. I'm not a spicy person. Again, spice doesn't like me, and so I don't put that in, but it's chili, so a lot of people like it spicy and hot, so dice up a jalapeno and throw that in if you want to. I probably am not going to add all of this, but like one pepper, red or green or both, yellow, whatever you want. I'm getting that in there. And I diced up a few celery stalks. I don't always put celery in, but if I have it, why not? I throw it in. I'm not a huge celery fan, but it adds some flavor and can't hurt. A little crunch. I chop it up small because celery kind of takes a while to cook, so I don't want that crunchy. I want everything to cook down. All right, so I got that going. I'm gonna throw some salt in there. Grab my salt and some pepper. Sweat that all out. Get that going. Won't take long. Toss it around. I know you can't see what I'm cooking, but you'll get the recipe and I'll give you some ideas about some other things that you can add. And chili is one of those things that you can add lots of different things. I'll kind of tell you about some of those things as we go along, and also as far as like the meat too, I use turkey, but I'm calling it turkey chili, but you certainly don't have to. You can use beef, you can use pork or a combination or whatever. I use turkey. It's just a little bit less fatty, and so that's what I've been doing. So we'll get that going. It doesn't take long, 5 or 6 minutes. Some of the variations of chili, like I said, again, the meat that you use, obviously, and the spice. There's, you can make it super, super hot, add tons of spice. My feeling is you can always add more. You can't take it out once it's in there, so I try to make it a little bit spicy. I don't mind a little bit of a kick. I can't deal with it if it's got a lot, so someone who is eating with you who likes it real spicy can add some extra stuff to it, or you can make it without spice in the beginning and then pull some out for whoever in your family doesn't like spice, and then spice up the rest of it. Obviously there's lots of variations of things you can do. While that's cooking down, I'm actually going to add some garlic. So it was 1 medium onion, 1 pepper, and 3 stalks of celery. Kind of just a guideline, and that was 2 cloves of garlic, 2 good-sized cloves of garlic. And garlic, again, leave it out if you don't like it, put more if you really like it. Lots of things you can do, variations. Also, so the spices go in now because when you cook the spices, it sort of brings out their oils and enhances their flavor. So I already pre-measured this. I have half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I have half a teaspoon of cayenne and a whole teaspoon of chili powder. And I'm just going to throw that in and let that bloom with the other things that I have in there. You can start to smell it. Be careful when you're touching spicy things that you don't touch your eyes or anything and, you know, sting yourself. That looks good. Get that going. All right. So next is the meat. I've got a pound of ground turkey. I'm going to throw that in. Really simple, and it's the kind of thing that can sit for a while on the stove. It's football season, so everybody's eating football food. I'm not sure the origin of football food, why we need to eat chili and wings and nachos, but we do. But it's cold out, and chili is a nice thing. Stick on the stove, and people can eat it, you know, as they feel like it. And also good in the crock pot. You can leave it in the crock pot all day and leave it warm, and people can serve themselves. I'm going to throw a little more salt in there since I added the meat, and I'm going to throw some pepper in there. Just kind of eyeball it a little bit. I probably put 2 teaspoons of salt in the beginning and probably a teaspoon of pepper and another half a teaspoon of salt just then. Get that all brown before you add anything else. All right. Let that go. All right. Getting there. Doesn't take long. Put my spices in. Lots of things you can add at the end too. Garnishes that are lots of things you can put on it. You can stick your jalapenos on at the end over the top. Cilantro. I don't like cilantro. There are certain people who, for some reason, cilantro tastes like soap, and other people love it. It's a love-hate thing. It tastes like soap to me. I don't like it. I don't use it. Everybody raves about it. I kind of wish that I could eat it, but it tastes just like soap to me. So I'll leave it out. Looking good here. Pretty much brown. So the other things I'm going to be adding to this, I'm going to turn it down a little bit, so naturally tomatoes, obviously. I've got diced tomatoes. I buy the ones with, they're already seasoned. This is basil, garlic, and oregano, because why not? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. They have others. They actually have diced tomatoes that have spicy, they have jalapenos and all kinds of other spicy things in there. So you could do that, and all that spicy stuff would be already diced up for you. This is looking good. That's brown. And sauce. So this is one of those things that, you know, depending on what kind of meat you use and depending on how liquidy it ends up, I always put tomato sauce, but sometimes I have to use 2 cans, sometimes 1, so I only opened 1 for now. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see if we need more than 1. And then I'll add my little surprise in there, and I'll show you what it looks like once we got it looking like something. So the meat's pretty brown, so I'm going to throw the canned tomatoes in. This makes a lot, probably enough for 6 people. There's only 2 of us, but I like leftovers, and I like to be able to have it, you know, have it for a couple of days. Have a bowl at the beginning of the game, and then another bowl at halftime. All right, that's looking good, and I definitely need sauce because it's tomatoey, but it's not saucy. That's weird, but anyway. I'll show you what I mean. That's better. All right, I want to show you, if I can. Bring you over here. Nope. All right, it's bubbling up good. So it's thick, which is how I like it, and tomatoey, but not like super chunky. I mean, it needs to be not soupy and not just chunks. So somewhere in between. I mean, you know what chili looks like. My little secret ingredient, which you don't have to add if you don't want, pumpkin. I'm going to add about maybe a cup of pumpkin. About a cup, maybe a little less than a cup. So what does pumpkin do? You don't taste it. It's not going to taste like pumpkin. But it just adds a little something, a little richness. You don't really taste it. You don't really know it's there, but it's there. And also, you know, it's good for you and it adds fiber and, you know, can't hurt. Give it a try. A couple other things that I sometimes add, and maybe I will, since I have it, is chocolate. And that might sound a little weird, but it also deepens the flavor and enhances the flavor of the chili so you can get it out. It's just bitter. You don't want sweet chocolate, but just, you know, bitter chocolate, baking chocolate really. And I'm just going to add a couple ounces. So I'm going to get that in there and let it melt. And again, it's something you won't know it's there, but it's there. All right, and then what is chili? Really, without beans. I drained and rinsed a can of kidney beans, just dark red kidney beans. 1 can. And again, you want more, add more. You want black beans, add black beans. Just make sure you drain and rinse them. And we'll get that all stirred together. That's looking really good. And it's really kind of done. See how easy that was? I mean, obviously I chopped everything up ahead, so you know, it always makes it seem easier when everything's pre-chopped, but it's looking great. I'm going to show you one more time. Bubbling away. So you want to cook that down. You wouldn't want to serve it like right now because you want to let the vegetables cook down a little bit. You've got that celery in there especially. It'll be crunchy. I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to let it simmer. You could stick this in the crock pot and let it go for a while and it would be great. Oh, I didn't add my crushed red pepper. I like adding it. Kind of eyeball that red pepper. I just bought these, so brand new. I'm finding that these new spices, I guess mine were kind of outdated, but I just bought some and they're very strong. So I'm just going to throw in probably like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Like I said, you can always add, you can't take it away, so be careful, especially if you've got sensitive people. All right, that is looking really good. It's thick and rich. Got lots of great stuff in it. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to serve this in a biscuit bowl. Hi, I'm back. I am listening to that bubble away back there, and I'm realizing that I forgot one thing that you don't have to put in, another one of those optional things, but to cut the acidity of all those tomatoes, I like to put some sugar in there. So I have 2 tablespoons of sugar that I'm just going to throw in. I forgot all about that. And throw it all in because, again, you can't take it out. So that's bubbling away. Looks great, smells great, it's nice and thick. Chocolate's melted. Chocolate makes it nice and dark and rich. Okay, so that's done. I haven't tasted it yet because you'll want to taste it and re-season it, see if it needs a little more salt, a little more spice, whatever it is you think it needs, but it's pretty much done at this point. So I like to serve it, I don't always, but I like to serve it in biscuit bowls because it's kind of fun. And I didn't make the biscuits, I'm not making the biscuits from scratch. I'm using a biscuit mix, Bisquick or whatever, and it's easy. It's just 2 cups of the mix and 2/3 cup of water. Sorry, milk, not water, milk. I don't know why I said that. Not a professional TV person, so you have to bear with me. We'll get that mixed together. At this point, too, in the biscuit bowls, if you wanted to make those spicy, you could throw some cayenne pepper in there. Nothing liquidy, but you could throw one of the spices, the chili powder or something in there. So that just comes together real quick. And I'm gonna knead it a little bit. And it's messy. I grab a little bit of flour from my board. Bear with me. Let's grab my flour. Just flour the board, just lightly. And then turn this out. I'm not an expert at baking by any means. I'm not an expert at cooking either, but I try. But I know that biscuits, you want to knead them a little bit, but not too much, and they shouldn't be, should be a little wet. It should come together. You can always add more milk if it won't come together, if it's too dry, or more mix if you need to, if you've made it too wet. But that's the ratio. So I'm just going to knead it. It's coming together pretty decent. Just to get it, knead it just to get it together. Okay, and I've preheated my oven to 425. That's what we're going to bake these at, these biscuit bowls. To kind of get it in a little round thing here so we can sort of measure what we're going to do, because we want to break it up into even pieces. Messy, messy, messy. Okay, let's break this up. Cut it. We're going to do 6. Do that. And we'll do that. All right, so I'm going to roll this. The cat, he always likes to get into the videos. Just going to roll it into a ball. So what I did is I want to grab a muffin tin. I'm making 6, and this has 12, but you need to space them out. So there's 6 that are going to go on here, and I sprayed it really well with cooking spray. If you don't have a muffin tin with 6, you can just use 2 or do it in batches. So try to do it where you can see what the heck I'm doing. So I'm just going to flatten it out. Okay. It's not going to make giant bowls, and you're not going to eat out of the bowl without a bowl under it, because that would be a mess. You just mold it around, and that means the oven's ready. Don't make it too thin, and it's not going to be perfect. They're going to be rustic looking. They're definitely not going to be perfect. Don't make it too thin. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with that. I'm going to show you a couple more. I'm going to pop them in the oven. It's already preheated. It's very warm in here. Okay. So you're going to want to space them out. So you don't want to do it right next to that one. You want to go over to the next one, because they're gonna get a little bit bigger, and if they're touching, they're gonna stick together. I've done this quite a few times. The kids think it's, interesting. Plus my kids are all gone, but they like it. All right, I'm gonna do one more. Here's the cat again. Stick it in. He's mad because the curtain's shut and he can't see what's going on out there. He's got a little buddy that's been coming around. He goes crazy. He's an indoor cat, and he's jealous of that other cat because he can't go out. So see how I skipped? So then I'll go here and here, and that way they won't stick. All right, I'm going to pause me, and I'm going to finish this up, pop it in the oven. I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. I am back. While I was gone, I tasted my chili, and it desperately needed salt. So I added some more salt, probably another 2 teaspoons, and I added some more sugar because it really needed it. With the bitter chocolate and the pumpkin, it really needed some more sugar and some salt. I didn't add any more spices. It was spicy enough for me, and probably spicy enough for my husband, but he might throw some sriracha on it, like you can if you like it spicier. Anyway, I got my biscuit bowls out of the oven, and they came out pretty good. They're not going to rise a lot. Come right off if you spray the pan well, and they're just golden brown. And they're little. They're not meant to hold, it's not your actual bowl. You're going to put it in your bowl, and it came out really good. So I'm going to put that on there, and I'll show you how I serve it. Put it right over, dump it right over the biscuit bowl, and then when you're digging in with your spoon, you dig into the bowl too. See that? That is really hot. And the bowl is under there. And then lots of things you can garnish it with. I like to put avocado. Throw that on the top. Just slice that up. Cheese, of course. Throw some cheese over it. And if it is spicy, and even if it's not, Sour cream. Always got to add some sour cream to the top of that. Just to kind of cut that spice. Dollop that on top. Maybe. Come on. There we go. And a little greenery. A lot of people would put cilantro, as you know. I will not. That's just parsley. And if there's any other herb you prefer to put on there, you can. So that's it. It's all done. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you join me again. I'll be doing some more cooking videos. And as I said, there's some others on YouTube too. Enjoy!